Welcome to the Fathers of the Future podcast. My name is Luke Kayyem, and I am so excited today to have my next guest on the show, my daughter, Camille Joy Kayyem.
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. This is a first of many firsts for this episode. I promise I will not cry, so that's not happening as a first, but it's going to get a little emotional in a very powerful and positive way. Camille's the first female we've ever had on this show. She is my daughter, and she just graduated from high school over the weekend. She's going to be headed to the University of Tampa in August to play soccer for the Spartans. And we're just going to get right into it right away because there's a lot I want to talk about. And I want to introduce you to everybody out there who's listened to this show for years or maybe even the first time to really see how well we communicate in dialogue. And although nothing is scripted or planned, there's a bunch of questions I have, and I think you might have one or two questions to ask me at some point in this show. Let's start right away with your high school career and you accomplishing this first major milestone in your life, graduation. We just had the walk, the ceremony. You just walked at your kindergarten a couple hours ago. How does it all feel to you right now?
I mean, I think it's crazy that it's like here. My whole life, it was like years away, and now it's here and it's over. But I mean, I'm super, super grateful for where you've placed me and the life that you and Mom have given me. And I'm just super, super blessed to be able to obviously go to Florida and have that opportunity to play my sport and something that I enjoy for another 4 years.
I talk about this a lot in business as well as life, the law of attrition. We saw this right around 13, 14, 15, where a lot of your friends stopped playing. And for whatever reason, I remember one or two of your friends said, I want to study more. I have a boyfriend. I want to hang out more. But that grind of 10 months a year of soccer, you stuck to it and through it. And it's paid off because you now have a scholarship to play soccer at UT in South Florida. And you're prepared for it. You've been training for it for years. You got your strength and conditioning up the last couple years. Obviously, your mindset is tough and strong, but how did you get through some of those hard times where you wanted to quit?
I mean, I'm not going to say that it was easy. There was a lot of things like coaches that played a huge factor in me wanting to quit the sport that I loved. All my friends quitting, that was definitely hard, and not having people to support me around me on my team as they continued to stop playing the sport that we've played since we were 4 and 5 years old. But just keeping the consistency of this is what I want to do and this is how I see my future, I think is super important. And the fact that a lot of them would be able to go to things and I wouldn't. So for example, I've had to miss homecoming. I've had to miss so many parties. I've had to miss so many hangouts. But for me, I think it was worth it. And it was something that was just super important in my life and that I wanted to keep focus. And obviously, we'll get into it more, but just having Jesus in my life and at the center of my life has helped me be able to play the sport that I love and continue to just strive to play for him every single day.
That's beautiful. Some of the coaches that you had, male coaches especially, so all my dads out there who have daughters, it was really hard where I remember you breaking down crying back-to-back nights with two different coaches, one on your club team and one on your high school team, who made you feel like crap and were not very supportive. They were not positive. They were not guides. They were soccer coaches who had egos, and you didn't buy into that. And so you didn't let them do what they traditionally did with some of the other girls on your team. Did that empower you when you decided to kind of stand up for yourself and decide, look, I'm going to keep playing and I'm going to play for somebody else, and I'm not going to play high school soccer like so many girls do? And those 2 years that you didn't play, you played club and continue to play club on a different team.
Well, I'm not going to say it was easy. Obviously, at first, it was really, really hard. And even I was a child. I was 13, 14, 15 years old, having to deal with people overpowering me and constantly telling me that I wasn't good enough or that I needed to get bigger, faster, stronger. And obviously, those are things that I'm continuing to do. But in the way that they said it, I think that's what affected me most. And especially with high school soccer, I mean, looking back, it's such a blessing in disguise, not having to deal with the coach and with just the community that it was. But I'm so grateful for being able to switch clubs. I mean, the current club that I'm at has been the biggest blessing in my life. And shout out SC Del Sol. Shout out Tommy and Andy. They're amazing coaches, and they've really just pushed me to want to play. I mean, going into my sophomore year, I was constantly saying to my dad, I don't want to play. I want to be at a SEC school and be in a sorority, and I want to be able to do these things that I can't do as I play soccer. But through Del Sol and through that community of just having people that support me and my teammates and all those coaches has really pushed me to want to play college soccer. And I think that once I switched clubs, I said to you, I came home, I was like, I'm playing college soccer. Like, that was my goal and that was what I wanted to do. And just having that community is so important to be able to build you up and just support you through it all.
Speaking of community and training, can we talk about Coach Steve too, who was another light in your life these last couple of years? People think because of my background, like I'm always training my kids. Well, when we sold the gym, the kids stopped training with me. And so there was a couple years there where you didn't strength and condition, and then you started to get bodied. And there was a reality check that happened sophomore year where you're like, I do need to get bigger, faster, stronger. And so give a shout out to Coach Steve and ultimately what that's done for you off the field.
Yeah, shout out Steven Lindquist. You're the GOAT. Love you, man. But yeah, the reality was that freshman, sophomore year, I was small. I was like way smaller than compared to everyone else around me. And I think I realized, like, if I want to play college soccer, which is what I realized sophomore year, I need to get bigger. I need to get faster. And I need to just get in the gym more and be able to consistently eat. Like, I know obviously we still have this issue of, like, I'm not eating to the amount that I'm training because I'm constantly training. But yeah, just, I mean, like you said, when you try and coach me, I'm going to tell you, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, it's hard for a parent to tell you, like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Now, if Steve tells me I have to do it, I'm going to do it. But I think just having him as, like, a guide and just somebody that I can, like, work with. And I get excited to lift. I don't think I've ever, like, before that, excited to lift. It's so fun in there, and it's just, like, a great environment to be a part of. So shout out LPI.
It does take a village, right? You've got a lot of key and core players in your life, aside from your parents, who have supported you and guided you and trained you and, you know, leaned into you for what you needed to continue on this journey. It's not one or two things. It's been a lot of different things. You mentioned Jesus, and we're going to come back to that in a minute, but I want to ask you another question about consistency. I've said this on the show before. I talk about it a lot. I moved 32 times in my lifetime before the house we lived in or live in now, and you've lived on one street, 2 houses. You were born in a house 3 doors down from the house that you've lived in. What does that do for a young woman, a girl? What does that do for a human in terms of having just the ability and the comfort to not worry or stress or be fearful, or the word I use a lot is scarcity, you know, having that consistency of just knowing this is where I live and it's not going to change because something happened or my parents broke up or they lost money, like whatever the reasons were that so many people move, you haven't never had to worry about that, even to the point where you wrote a paper about trauma and said, I've never had any trauma in my life. But just from the comfort of knowing that you're safe, you're secure, you're supported, what has that done for you? Or maybe you don't know yet until you go off to college when you talk to other people and meet other people who haven't had that the way that you have. But what has it meant for you on this journey?
Well, I think that oftentimes I take it for granted. Like, I don't really put the pieces together that I have a family to come home to. I have parents who love and support me. I have a brother who's oftentimes annoying, but he loves me. And just being able to like our house is like, not like the party house, but like it's the house that people can come over to and they know that the door's always open. They know that you guys are there to support them. And I think that has been something huge, especially due to the fact that I live right across the street from school. Just, oh yeah, you can go to my house to go pick up this, you left it there. Or I remember a few weeks ago, we had an event at school and a kid forgot his uniform. And he's like, oh my gosh, can I borrow cannons? And I was like, of course, like my dad will leave it outside. So just the fact that you guys are always there and consistently just there for everyone in my life has been a huge, like, standing point in my life. And also the fact that I live on the same street has meant so much. I mean, you talk about how you've had to deal with people coming in and out of your life. And I've mostly just had people like in my life. And I know I'm super blessed and I'm grateful for that. But you and I even talk about how, like, I love tradition. Like, every single 2 years we go with my mom's whole side of the family and we hang out in Payson. And that quality time that we get to spend together means so much to me. So just comfortability is really huge.
I've apologized to your brother before, especially senior year, where he comes home from school and I'm home, usually with my shirt off, always home.
Always shirt off. Yeah.
And I had to apologize to him one time because I was like, man, you can't even bring a girl home and your dad's always home, right? So today at your kindergarten class, I was the only dad, right? And that's kind of a reoccurring theme, and I've owned that. What does that mean to you as you move into this next phase, living across the country, that I was always there, that you had a dad that was always there, and your mom's always there too, but the dad piece, as we know, tends to be different for most households. The dad's not always there. My life, dad was never there. But having that support system from the dad, where you see some of your other friends who maybe mom's just the supportive one, or you have some friends where dad doesn't come to anything.
Sometimes it's funny because you're standing there with a group of 30 moms. So it's funny sometimes, but I mean, it's been huge having you in my life and just being there for me. And obviously, like you said, I talked to some of my friends and they're like, oh, my dad doesn't let me do this, or my dad won't even come to anything. And I just think, like, I feel bad, like, because I've been so blessed to have you and mom come to everything. And I think I saw a TikTok trend and it was like, I can count on my hand how many games my dad has missed. And I can relate to that. Like, if you can go, you're there. So that's super amazing.
Okay, let's talk about Jesus.
Okay.
I say it all the time, you were born with Jesus in your heart. I'm sure mom and dad played some type of role, but you've inspired me to the point where I got baptized on my 45th birthday almost 3 years ago in our backyard. Shout out Brad Larson. So I know that you've played a role in my faith, but where has so much of your faith practice, your relationship with Jesus, your ability, you told me a story and I have to share it. You were in an Uber a week and a half ago and you started talking to your Uber driver about faith and belief and religion, and somehow, some way, you ended up praying for her in the backseat of the car. Where does that come from, and how have you continued to grow that part of your life?
Well, I have 2 shout outs I want to give. My first one is to Faith Adventure Camp. I would not be where I am in my faith without those people and that community. And also shout out Impact Church. Impact Church has been a huge role in my whole life. I've gone to the same church since I was 3. That's so rare to go to the same church. I mean, obviously we did switches and in and out of other churches, but Impact Church is always home and it always will be. And PT's just been someone that I've literally looked up to since I was 4 years old. I remember actually they asked for a donation when I was 5 or some age like that. And I was like, Dad, I want to give money. I want to tithe. I want to give some money to the church. And you were like, Camille, you don't have any money. You're 6. But I had about $50. And so I put it in a note and I wrote PT a note. And I remember he ended up posting it all over social media. And I was like, wow, PT knows who I am. I'm awesome. But just seeing him every day, it's like another constant in my life is I go to church on Sunday, I see PT on stage. It's something that I can always go back to. And obviously with my faith, you said, like, where does it come from? And you and mom have played a huge role, and grandma and her side of the family has played a huge role. But being able to go to the same church camp, I've gone to the same church camp since I was 8 years old. And I remember they made me go and I didn't want to go. And I was like, I'm not going to this camp. It's terrible. Cannon hated it. I do not want to go. And I ended up loving it. And I've gone ever since I was 8 years old. Now I serve as a junior counselor. And I get to pray for the little girls. They're 5, 6 years old. And I can pray for them and I can talk to them about their faith and really just get where they're coming from. And I remember when I was them and I had no clue about Jesus. And I remember coming home and I was like, Dad, like, I love like Jesus, he's awesome. And you were like, that's awesome. And then it just started to grow, and I started to serve at church. And obviously I wish I could get in more, but soccer's something that overpowers that sometimes. But also my friend Riley Mellon has played a huge role in my faith. She always she's doing ministry at Impact as for college, and that is so rare to see. Somebody that's 19 years old isn't going to ASU to go party. She's going into ministry, and same with Liv. They're both going into ministry, and it's just something that I can look up to and just see that the way that they live their life and that they pick up their cross every single day. And she texts me and catch her, and she's like, guys, where are you? Come on, get into church. So just having that in my back pocket that's saying, come on, let's go get in church, read your word tonight. And she often sends me notes. So that faith community is super important, just having people that love and know Jesus.
We can't talk about the good without talking about some of the not so good. You've been ridiculed. High school, kids are mean. And there's been some kids who don't appreciate your faith and have been vocal about it. And you've been able to stand up to that. What's that like for a teenage girl in today's society, which, you know, the 40-year-old men who are listening and watching this, right, we say it all the time. I couldn't imagine growing up in today's social media reality. How do you stand up in the face of darkness and people who are oftentimes just mean and ridicule you for your faith practice?
There's a quote that I refer to whenever that happens, and it's actually from PT's daughter, Jazzy. I remember she said it at youth a few years ago, and she said, people living in the dark hate the light. They hate your light. So when you show how much you love God and you show your joy and just how much joy you have, and obviously that's my middle name for those that don't know, and I've gotten just notes to say, you are your middle name, and that's just something that is so important to me, is just having joy. Like you said in the car the other day, your favorite thing that you heard the other day was choose joy and just living with joy in your life. And it makes your day so much better. If you wake up and you say, this is going to be a good day, even the hardships, you can look at and say, thank you, Jesus, for this. This is my why. Like I have a roof over my head. I have a car. I have these things that so many people don't have. And just being able to refer to those quotes in the Bible and just seeing those things. And another thing that I read was, a million things go right before your feet even hit the ground in the morning. You have a bed. You wake up with breath in your lungs. There's so many things that go right. And so dealing with those people who don't like the light, and oftentimes I think it doesn't come from a place of full jealousy, but it's they wish that they could have that joy. They wish that they could have that love and light in their life. And sometimes you can't even shun them for it because they're dealing with things that you don't know. They could have a dad who's not there. They could have somebody in their life that doesn't support them. And so the fact that I have that is something that people look at, and I don't know, I'm just super grateful for that.
Let it all be joy. You got your first tattoo a couple months ago. It's a Bible verse, your favorite verse. Let's hear it.
Matthew 5:16, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven.
Beautiful. You got your first tattoo before I got my first one, by the way. I was almost 18, and you were about the same age.
I won't get as many as you. I'm done with one.
All right, great. Okay, next piece of the puzzle. You are going across the country. Have you started to get nervous or start to question? You know, your brother's in San Diego, and he comes home a lot, but it's going to be a little bit further. And being raised in this environment where everything is so close. I talk about the bubble inside the bubble where we live. Great for raising kids, terrible for raising men, which is why I work with a lot of these young teenage men. But you're built different, like your mom and your grandma. And so have you started to think about how big of a leap this actually is?
I think it hit me when I was there in March. I texted you 5 hours in, and I said, I miss you, I want to come home. My roommate was like, it's been 5 hours. Like, are you miss your parents? And I was like, it's not exactly that I miss them. Obviously I do, but I go on trips all the time without you. It was the fact that I was in the place where I'm going to be in a few months. And I was realizing I'm going to be 3,000 miles from home. But like we were saying, having someone always there, and like, I'm not going to school with anyone that I know. A lot of my friends are going to U of A with 50 kids from our school, Ole Miss with 5 kids from our school. They'll have comfortability, and they'll have those people that they can, like if they miss home, they'll have those people who are home. And I have our family out there, but I don't have anyone at the campus that I've grown up with. And so I know I'll never be alone because I have God and I have that faith. And obviously, if you want to come out for a weekend, you're going to book a flight and come see me. So I'm not super worried about that because we have that comfortability to be able to do those type of things. But it's definitely going to hit me once August comes. But I'm excited. It'll be fun.
You had a couple friends that were crying at graduation, and you and me looked at each other and we're like, nah, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're good. But everyone's like, wait till August.
Yeah.
Wait till August.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when I see someone cry, I start crying.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to do that. So we look at each other and we're like, walk away. Just go so we don't cry. But yeah, once August comes, I report pretty late actually for college soccer, but early for people who are going to just schools. But I'm excited. First day in is beep test. Going to get 40 on that.
Yeah.
Pass that.
Yeah. Positive affirmations. You said something a week ago as you were headed to go train about showing up well above and beyond prepared. There's 30 girls on the roster.
34.
34, and one is 24 years of age, 23, right?
Yeah,
so
5
7
years
years.
older.
You are the youngest on the team. You are a young senior. You're 17 still, turning 18 next month. What did you say? And now that you say it out loud and repeat it again, what do you need to do to show up as that person who doesn't just make the team, but has a chance and an opportunity to actually play?
I woke up one morning last week and got up out of bed and I texted Steve. We said, and I told you, I said, I want to start. I want to go in freshman year and start. And I know it's going to be hard. Most freshmen say it's going to be a rude awakening. And like I said, Del Sol has prepped me for that. I run so much at Del Sol. Oftentimes I cry before practice because I'm like, I really don't want to run tonight. But once I fix that mentality of it's something that I get to do, you texted me and said, it's a privilege. Like, it's a privilege that you have legs that work and that you can go out every day and be able to perform to your best ability. So, I mean, my goal is obviously to start freshman year. It's going to be tough, but I think going in more prepared, so more Steve, more training like that. You and I go to the park often and we run. We do foot stuff, and then I'm doing WPSL over the summer, Women's Professional Soccer League with Del Sol. Got my practice in like an hour, so got to get to that. But I think just being constantly prepared, and I keep talking about my summer packet to everyone. Everyone's like, oh, can you go? I'm like, no, I have my summer packet. Like, I have to do it, but I get to do it, and it sucks, but it's good in the long run.
You haven't taken a day off? Mm-mm. Yeah. When you were born, I was a different human being. You've heard the stories. Some of my old school friends, even Mom, has shared some stories of when I was not this man, when I used to drink. And so I got sober. I quit drinking a month into your birth. And I've been sober 17 years. I always remember it because it's right around your birthday and Mom's birthday and my mom passing. June 10th through the 15th. One of the greatest things besides your faith for me that I am so secure about is that you don't drink. And all of your friends, male and female, are drinking for the most part. Some of them. They're drinking enough, more than you. All right, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but a lot of these kids are drinking. You're not. Okay? Where does that choice and decision come from right now? And are you fearful or even thinking that maybe in college that might change? Or are you so committed and dedicated that you're like, I don't drink now. I don't see myself ever wanting to drink?
We were in a circle at one of my friend's house a few months ago, and we were standing there, and someone was like, all right, raise your hand if you think Camille will drink in college. And almost all the hands didn't go up. I think people know that I stand for not drinking. I'm not shunning anyone who does. Do whatever you want. But for me, people ask me why, and I could go on a list. My first one I say is it gets rid of your abs. I just say that to mess with them.
That's number one?
That's number one. That's what I say. And they're like, oh. But I say, yeah, you're not going to have any abs. Look at me. It's a joke. But no, the real reason I'd say is, well, I don't know what it does for me. Like, it brings me no happiness. It makes you feel like crap. And another thing is, Jesus, like in the Bible, it talks about not getting drunk, and drunkenness, it messes with you, and it messes with the community, and it lets the devil in. It takes overpower on you. And I'm not just saying that that's a reason, but I honestly feel no want to. It's just not something that's ever made me want to.
You're clear-headed and you want to stay that way, yeah. And you have a ton of fun without it.
Yeah, people say, "How are you sober right now?" And I'm like, happiness. Like people last night were just saying like, "How are you having fun?" Like I don't need that to have fun. Just go on the dance floor. Like, but yeah.
If there's anything you could say to your future self, let's go 10 years, right? So 27-year-old Camille, what would that be?
I hope you're making bank. I hope you're on ESPN and you're interviewing Tom Brady.
Okay, let's talk about ESPN. What do you want to do? What are you going to school for after soccer?
I'm going to the University. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to the University of Tampa to play soccer. Obviously, that's my main job. That's the reason that I'm playing. But you go to college for a degree, and I'm going to be studying communications and sports media or just media studies. People always say, you're always filming, you're always recording. I have a YouTube channel I'm always posting on. Shout out Camille Kayyem on YouTube.
Subscribe,
check it out. But there's so many memories, and after it's over, people say, "Oh, I'm glad you videoed." In the moment, they're like, "Oh, this is so annoying. Get the camera out of my face." But I have memories going back to freshman year, sophomore year, junior year of all of our events, and I have a video coming out this week, and it's senior year. And it's 45 minutes long. Every single moment from senior year I filmed. Me and my friend Mateo just whip out the camera and we're filming everyone. But like I love cameras. I love being on the mic. I don't need a mic to speak because I'm super loud, but I just love being in front of cameras. I always have. We found a picture of me from a few years ago, or I was like 5 years old. I was just filming, and there's videos of me saying, "What's up, YouTube?" when I'm 5. It's just always been something I love, and I love getting to understand other people's stories and being able to communicate with them. I love making videos, so anything media studies, anything journalism, it's right up my alley. So I'm excited to be able to do that. And Erin Andrews is somebody that I look up to and somebody that I want to be just like, being a face for sports, because oftentimes women aren't the face of sports. And everyone knows who Erin Andrews is. She's an amazing reporter for ESPN. So just being that face and somebody that women can look up to. And she's been that for me, and I want to be that for others.
Beautifully said. All right, you got one question. Your turn. You're now a reporter, and you're interviewing me. One question.
Well, first, fun question. Second question after. What hobby are you going to find when I'm at college? So you have something to fill your time.
I do a lot of my hobbies now when I'm not with you. You know, one of the things I talk about the dads that I work with is like, it's not 18 years, right? You're not even 18 yet. It's 13. It's 13 years, Martin, right? It's 13, maybe 14 if you're lucky. We've been super blessed that neither you or your brother had a romantic boyfriend or girlfriend. And your mom and I started dating when we were 15, and so that consumed a lot of us. So I've been running hobbies and doing things I love to do for years. I'm not one of those dads who's like, "Oh, I'll do that when she goes off to school." I'll do the same thing. I love travel, adventure, experience. I love training, doing hard things, shooting guns, surfing. So that'll continue. I just believe there'll be more of a national, if not global, footprint of going places I've never been before.
Yeah. I have a real question now.
Uh-oh, here we go.
What's something that you've had to develop, like a skill that you've had to develop with your kids, not having a father? Like you didn't have anyone to look up to. You didn't have anyone except for your mom, but you didn't have a father figure. So what's something that you've had to pick up from others around you?
The number one most important and valuable idea, concept, framework, simple sentence, words is I had to learn to show up. And I hiked Camelback yesterday morning with a sophomore that goes to Notre Dame Prep. He's going to be a junior now. And he texted me on Saturday night. We've had a weekend full of all these parties, events, graduation, grandma's birthday. He texted me at like 8:30. He's like, "Hey, are we still going to Camelback tomorrow morning?" And I was like, yes. So it's a 4:15 a.m. wake up, picking him up at 5 o'clock.
I'll never hike
Right?
Camelback ever again.
So Saturday night, you know, it's midnight when we go to bed. I wake up at 4:15. I look at my phone, and automatically the resistance sets in. Text this kid who doesn't want to go either, I'm sure. Let them know something. Tell them a story. BS, whatever it is. And I literally started to type it, and I went, just show up. Just show up. So I pick him up. We hike Camelback, and in our drive home, I'm sharing resistance. I'm sharing what happens if I don't show up. Number one, I lie to myself. Number two, I lie to you. Number three, I regret it. Number four, I don't get the Camelback. I don't get the mountaintop sunrise. I don't get any of it. And so that simple 2 words has been the biggest one for me, because there are days where I wake up, there are days where I don't want to do certain things, hard work, cleaning up, whatever it is. And I know that if I just show up, everything else will work itself out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll close out like this. I love you.
Love you too.
You changed my life for the best. And in doing that, knowingly or not, you have changed so many people's lives. I tell everybody, my son literally was the beginning of changing my life for who I am. And I got to rewrite a lot of my own childhood. But with you,
no crying, bro.
With you, you really made me see that I can be sensitive, I can be soft, I can have a feminine polarity, I can be loving, I don't have to be angry. And that was something that I really worked on early in your life. And so I'm just so proud of the young lady that you have become.
Thanks.
I said I wasn't going to cry. These are just tears of love. But no, seriously, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for this next stage of your life, because I know you're going to take your time, your talents, your love for the Lord, and you're going to do what I hopefully believe I've done in this lifetime, which is help other people become their best. So I love you, Camille, Joy, Kayyem. That's the Fathers of the Future podcast with my daughter, CJK. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you. All we ask in return is that you simply pay this message forward. Share it. Send it to somebody. Send it to a new dad out there. Send it to an old dad out there. Send it to somebody out there who needs to hear this message of what a real man and a beautiful young woman's commonality and bond is like. Thank you for being here. Peace.